Hello everyone, and today we're going to be doing more of 300 drawing prompts. But before I start this video, I just wanted to say we hit 80 subs. That's amazing. We've come so far from just being at 0 subscribers, and soon we'll be at 100. Only 20 more, and we'll hit our first major milestone. So without any more to talk about, let's get straight into the 300 drawing prompts. So, first off, we just finished doing the angel wings in the last video. Now we're going to be doing the Dr. Seuss hat right underneath it. So first, we're going to want to give it that bendy look to it. So we're going to curve it right here, and then come up to the top and curve. For me, I just decided that this is going to be how I'm going to do it. Exactly like this. Then now we need the bottom, so of course we're going to come around and make the bottom of the hat, making sure to connect it and attach it on both sides. So now that we've come up around on both sides, come up and we've got that side. Next, we can start to do the inside. And all the drawings so far in this book are mainly probably going to be sketches and rough sketches, and no color is going to be added unless I just feel like coloring it and having the right colors to use, because mainly I have markers, which I'll show you a quick glimpse of, which I've used in other videos previously, but those would easily bleed through the paper and you would see it, and that wouldn't make very good artwork, now would it? Because I would be midway through the book and then you can see the last drawing bleeding through the paper. So this is the basic design we have right now. I might want to change it up a little bit, so we're going to bring out our trusty donut erasers and erase this part. This part's a little rough sketch, so we're going to erase that, not too hard so that it stays like that, and curve it like this, and then I guess we could come in a little more like this. So we're going to need to erase that again. This is why I'm using this lighter pencil. Now that we've got this done, at the end we can always improve it. Time to add the shading on the sides. And that's the whole thing I see about Dr. Seuss' hat. Everything has its different qualities and things that stick about different drawings, like the feathers and the shading. But in this image, it's once again the shading, but on the sides of the hat. So I decided to give it a lot of good shading and depth and dimension. So now it's time to shade in the inside of the hat, because no light is appearing to touch inside the hat, and the light source is most likely coming from up here, as the shadows are in the back rather than the front or the back entirely. So once we've colored that in, I think we've got mainly the outside of it done. Now we can work on doing the bottom, and that's not too hard. So now we got the hat done. And maybe a little more shading around the edges would be fine, and giving it more depth and dimension. Now we can add little designs around it. Personally, I'm going to add like little pieces of wind around it so that it gives that extra look to it. And then I'm going to add one more right here. That one's going to be smaller than the others. And then there we have Dr. Seuss' hat. Now, since we still have time, we can add some extra details around it, just giving it a little more imaging, I guess, if that's the word. And And now we've officially finished Dr. Seuss's hat. Now we have more time, so let's move on to the next drawing. We're going to move on to asteroids right here and the Milky Way. So first, with asteroids, I always give it a circle-like shape. Of course, although asteroids can come in many different sizes and shapes, I just like to give this one in particular a more roundish shape with bumps around the edges. So first, I'm going to add little craters inside the asteroid. And at the end, as always, going to add the shading. Now that we've got that part done, I'm gonna give it an outer layer as it's flying through space. I'm gonna make a few little spikes and come back to the tail of the comet. Right now it kind of looks like a meteor heading straight towards Earth. Or that even looks like Earth. Earth turned into a meteor. Anyway, as I'm finishing up this drawing, I'm going to finish up on the tail right there. We could actually technically make this part a little shorter so that there's a single tipped point there. So now, I guess it's time for the shading. When doing my drawings, I kind of have an image in my mind of what it's gonna be like, but I also have an idea ready on paper that I sometimes will use for references as to see what I did before, and if I like it, I'll add it into the drawing, and then occasionally I'll add extra features to it so that it doesn't look totally like what I did before it. So right now we're just doing the shading around the drawing, giving each one of the craters a little bit of more shading, and I think so far the first asteroid on the piece of paper has come out pretty well. Add a few more designs here and here, here and here, and I think the first asteroid's pretty good. Add a little more shading around the edges, and now let's add another asteroid. For this one, I'm gonna go with a few rougher edges, and it's gonna be in the background and much smaller than the first asteroid I did. So now we're going to do this and come around, make this a little less blocky because it's the comet's tail instead, so it's not a physical part of the asteroid. Once again, we're going to add the spikes and come around. I don't think I really draw asteroids too much, but when I do, I give it, there's a lot of different ways I do it. Sometimes I'll do it realistic, or sometimes I'll just make it cartoony. Right now, I think it's in the middle of both of those, and just being an asteroid. I don't know what else I was planning to say there because I'm not good at speech right now, but I think the second asteroid has been done pretty well. Now, once again, we're moving back onto the shading. Now they kind of look like meteors or comets. They don't really have a specific shape. Well, not shape, but something to define them really as an asteroid rather than a meteor or a comet. But either way, I think it still looks pretty nice. Next, we're going to add another collection over here because there's a lot of space we still need to fill in over here. This one is once again going to be blocky, and we'll have that one. Over here, I have a giant plan, I guess you could say, for the next one over there. So as I draw the comets, I'm going to continue to add their little tails on the back of them, as I like to call them. And we've once again got to the top. And it kind of looks like fire in a way, which makes it seem more like a meteor once again. But really, depending on what it looks like can make it all the difference. But however you want it to be, it can be whatever it wants. It can be an asteroid, it can be a meteor. Whatever you want it to be, it can be that. Although, there are a few characteristics that kind of define an asteroid from a meteor. But right now, these are asteroid meteors. That's what we're going to call them. Even though it clearly says up here, asteroid, not meteor. Or both at the same time. Once again, add the shading. Add a little one next to that. And that gives me a few ideas, actually. Put a little debris next to it that aren't big enough to be its own asteroid, but not too small that it's just non-existent on the paper. Add one here, add one there, kind of going slightly into the asteroid. And now we got those. So now, right here, I'm going to make the biggest asteroid so far. It's already getting pretty big so far. And boom! There. We have this one done. Now that we've got that, add the craters in there. One here. One here. One here. One here. One here. One here. And one here. Can't even see that one. It's so small. Alright, so once again, now this one, I'm going to make it, give it a really big tail, and at the front, it's gonna have a lot of shading and darkness. But this one's gonna be slightly in the background so that it's not hitting the other asteroids. Now let's come up here. And we've got the asteroid. The giant asteroids that are all heading to planet Earth. Please stay calm, as asteroids are coming directly towards Earth. Alright. Now we've got that. Time to do the shading on the asteroid. Like all the other meteors. I don't know what specifically the light source is coming from. Maybe from on the corner as they pass by a sun from a different galaxy or something similar to that. But no matter what it is, still I'm going to add shading. And it's going to look pretty cool at the end. Almost guaranteed. Now we've got that done. And just to note, if you hear any background noise, please excuse that, as certain things are happening outside. I think someone's cutting the lawn outside too. Anyway, now that we've got all the asteroids done, time to add the stars. And star 1, star 2. So all the stars I make, they're normally in diamond shapes, as that's how I've seen stars in many videos before, and that's how I normally just draw my stars. Add a lot of different stars. Some will be just specks, while others will be much bigger. And I guess we could add a sun in the background somewhere. Let's actually make a little universe right there. And add the sun there. And another universe there. And one here too. Now I think we've got that done. add a few more stars, and we'll be done for this episode. Alright, so, anyway, thank you for watching today's video where we drew Dr. Seuss's hat and an asteroid belt. Anyway, thank you for watching, and until next time, see you later. Remember to subscribe and like that notification.